Right now, as you are watching this, there is a good chance your Chevy is sitting in the driveway with the wrong fluid in the transfer case, a transmission that is quietly eating itself from the inside, and a factory system under the valve covers that General Motors has spent years trying to pretend is not a problem. And the thing that kills me is that every single one of those is cheap to prevent and devastating to fix. So let me walk you through all 15 before any of them catch up to you. Number 1. Using cheap oil and the wrong filter on your V8 Chevy truck. Guys walk into the parts store and grab whatever oil is on sale without checking the Dexos specification, then pair it with a $4 filter because they figure a filter is a filter. On the turbocharged 4 cylinders especially, non-Dexos oil can cause pre-ignition that cracks pistons. On the V8 trucks, the standard AC Delco filter has a plastic center core that clogs up on extended drain intervals, and I have personally seen Silverado trucks throw low oil pressure warnings caused entirely by the filter. The UltraGuard Gold version, with synthetic media and a metal core, gives you 10 to 15 more pounds of oil pressure for about $8 more, so there is really no excuse. But the oil and filter are just the start, because the next mistake is even easier to make, and I see it wreck engines constantly. Number 2. Using the wrong spark plugs, or trying to re-gap iridium plugs on your LS engine. Your 5.3 or 6.2 engine has a specific AC Delco iridium plug pre-gapped at 40 thousandths, and the tips are laser welded on. I had a guy bring his Tahoe in with misfires because he bent the electrode while gapping a set of cheap plugs, and the moment you do that, you risk cracking the iridium pad right off inside the combustion chamber. On supercharged builds, the factory plug runs too hot, so you need one heat range colder. Use the right plug, leave the gap alone, and move on. Now those first two are about parts you put in the engine. But this next one is pure operator error, and it kills transmissions on trucks that work exactly the way GM designed them. Number 3, towing heavy with your Silverado and never pressing the tow haul button. Without tow haul mode, the 8-speed transmission hunts between overdrive gears under load and generates massive heat. The torque converter unlocks when it should stay locked. Shift points are too low, which lugs the engine, and you get zero engine braking on downhill grades. Tow haul fixes all of that. On a Duramax, it also activates the exhaust brake, which is a lifesaver in the mountains. One guy on the Duramax forum towed a 38-foot fifth wheel through the Rockies without downshifting, and his brakes overheated so badly the truck went into full panic mode. That is a driver problem, and the sad part is a $5 button push would have prevented the whole thing. Transmission damage from towing is at least something you did to the truck, though. The next one is a factory design flaw where the engine destroys itself, and there is nothing you can do except check the oil constantly. Number 4. Owning a 2010 through 2017 Equinox with the 2.4 EcoTech and never checking the oil between changes is a serious problem. This engine burns a quart every 1,000 miles by design because the piston rings are too weak and carbon locks them in the grooves over time. General Motors extended the warranty on 2010 through 2012 models for piston replacement, but the real danger is the timing chain. The tensioner runs on oil pressure, so when oil gets low, the chain goes slack and can jump teeth, and because this is an interference engine, the pistons slam the valves. I worked on one where the chain let go at 22,000 miles. The water pump is buried inside the timing cover and driven by the chain, so if you pay for the chain replacement, replace the pump at the same time, or you will pay for the same labor twice. The 2009 through 2012 Traverse with the 3.6 V6 has the same problem, but with 3 chains instead of 1, and 12 to 18 hours of labor. Speaking of fluids, destroying things from the inside, the next mistake turns your cooling system into a science experiment gone wrong. Number 5. Mixing DexCool with green conventional coolant. The orange DexCool and the green coolant from any parts store are built on completely different chemical bases, and when you mix them, they react and create a sludge that clogs everything. But the really nasty part happened on the older 3.1 and 3.4 V6 engines in the Impala and Malibu, where degraded DexCool dissolved the nylon intake manifold gaskets and let coolant leak into the oil. I have pulled intake manifolds off those engines and watched orange slime pour out like something from a horror movie. Gasket replacement runs about $800, but if coolant sat in the oil long enough to score the bearings, you are looking at a full rebuild. Now, coolant is at least a fluid you have heard of, but there is a fluid in your four-wheel drive system that almost nobody thinks about, and the wrong one kills the transfer case. Number 6. Running the wrong fluid in your transfer case. Even the parts counter at the dealer gets this wrong. I get asked about it in the comments constantly, so here it is. If your Silverado 1500 has the round auto four-wheel drive button, your transfer case needs General Motors AutoTrack 2 fluid, a blue synthetic with friction modifiers for the clutch pack. Dexron will not work there. However, if your 2500 or 3500 has a manual selector with 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low, that one takes Dexron instead. Putting the wrong fluid in either one swells seals and kills the clutch pack, leading to a rebuild that can run 1500 to 3000. Same trap with the locking rear differential, because that is a locker, not a limited slip, so adding limited slip additive causes it to slip and miss engagement. While we are on things that slip and shudder, the next one affects millions of Chevy trucks, and your dealer might not be telling you it is covered under warranty. Number 7. Ignoring the 8-speed transmission. Shudder until it eats the torque converter alive. If you own a 2015 through 2019 Silverado, Colorado, or Camaro with the 8-speed, you probably know the shudder between 25 and 80 miles per hour. General Motors' original fluid absorbed moisture that ate the torque converter clutch material, and the fix is a complete fluid exchange with 20 quarts of Mobil 1 synthetic. Catch it early, and the flush costs $600 to $700, covered under the 5-year powertrain warranty. But owners who ignore it for months end up with a destroyed converter costing $2,000 to $3,000, or a full rebuild costing $5,000 to $8,000 if the solenoids fail. A $50 aftermarket thermal bypass valve that keeps temperatures about 50 degrees lower is the single best mod for that transmission. I said it in a previous video and I will keep saying it. Everything up to this point can be fixed for a few hundred to a few thousand. But this next one is the reason that Silverado from my intro needed a $13,000 engine. Number 8. GM's cylinder deactivation system. This is the hill I will die on. The system shuts down 4 cylinders at cruise to save gas, and I believe it has destroyed more Chevy truck engines in the last decade than any other engineering decision from any manufacturer. The special hydraulic lifters fail between 50,000 and 120,000 miles on 2014 through 2018 trucks, and the newer version is somehow failing even sooner with documented collapses under 10,000 miles on brand new trucks. When a lifter goes, it bends the pushrod, gouges the cam lobe, and sends metal through the oil system. That is what killed the truck from my intro. A full delete with a new cam, 16 lifters, and a tune runs about $5,000. But a $200 plug in disabler prevents it entirely. Over the life of the engine, cylinder deactivation saves maybe $500 in gas. The engine replacement costs $13,000. GM should be embarrassed by that math. And if you thought $13,000 was bad, this next one on the diesel side costs even more. Number 9. Running a Duramax without aftermarket fuel filtration. The high-pressure fuel pump on 2011 and newer Duramax trucks self-destructs, and it sends metal shavings through the entire fuel system, contaminating every injector, rail, line, and the tank. Total bill runs $9,000 to $12,000, and I saw one come through at 67,000 miles. An aftermarket 2-micron filtration system from FAS or AirDog costs $400 to $800 installed. It is the best insurance you will ever put on a diesel Chevy. Also, never put diesel exhaust fluid into the fuel tank. It happens constantly, and the repair is catastrophic. Now, this next one is going to make some people in the comments mad, but I have seen the damage, and I am going to say it anyway. Number 10. Bolting on an oiled cold air intake filter and thinking you gained horsepower. The factory airbox on your Silverado is already a cold air intake, and aftermarket intakes mostly just add noise. The real problem is that oiled cotton filters let oil migrate onto the mass airflow sensor, which feeds bad data to the engine computer. I had a 2500 owner go through 2 sensors in 1 year with a cone filter, and his transmission warranty got denied because the dealer traced bad shift points to the contaminated sensor. Cheap tunes are worse because GM's engine computer logs every flash event, and even reverting to stock leaves a fingerprint. One owner lost his entire powertrain warranty over a tuner he forgot was plugged in. If any of this is saving you money, hit subscribe. I put out new Chevy content every week, and the next one is going to save you even more. Speaking of things that should be simple, this next mistake turns a $200 brake job into $1,200. Number 11. Doing a brake job on a 2019 or newer Silverado without putting the system into service mode first. These trucks have an electronic parking brake, and compressing the rear calipers without activating service mode with a scan tool makes the computer think the hydraulics failed. Every warning light fires, and speed is limited to 43 miles per hour. A guy towed his truck into my shop after exactly that, and a routine pad swap turned into $1,200 with sensor replacement and recalibration. If you work on your own brakes on a newer Silverado, you need a scan tool. That is just the reality now. And if the brakes can cause that kind of headache, wait until you hear what happens when people tap into the electrical system. Number 12. Wiring aftermarket accessories into computer-controlled circuits. The body control module runs lights, locks, wipers, security, and gauges, and it is surprisingly easy to fry. One Silverado owner killed 2 modules running a relay off the hood latch wire for aftermarket lights. That cost about $800 each time at the dealer, plus mandatory programming. After a battery swap, the negative terminal current sensor needs recalibration, or the truck throws phantom charging warnings. Owners chase it, replacing the battery, then the alternator, then the sensor, spending $500 to $800 when a $50 recalibration was all it needed. But at least a fried module is fixable. The next one can total your truck if you let it go. Number 13. Letting frame rust go until it becomes structural. The 2007 through 2013 Silverado has a frame rust problem so bad that technicians report they can punch a hammer through the frame rail. GM released a service bulletin admitting the factory wax coating peels because the metal was not properly prepped, but they never issued a recall. Rubberized undercoating makes it worse because it cracks and traps moisture underneath. Oil-based coatings like fluid film or wool wax are what salt belt owners use instead. Check cab corners and rockers on 1999 through 2007 trucks as well, because those rot from the inside out when drain holes plug up. From one dealer headache to another, this next issue is pure markup, and it drives me crazy. Number 14. Paying the dealer $3,000 for an infotainment screen that costs a fraction to fix yourself. The MyLink screens on 2019 through 2023 Silverado and Colorado trucks have a glue layer between the screen and the touch panel that breaks down from going hot to cold over and over, and you end up with ghost touches and dead zones. The dealer replaces the entire head unit, but the failure is just the digitizer layer. A replacement part costs $100 to $200 and takes an hour, or a mail-in service runs $250 to $450. That is up to 15 times markup at the dealer, and it makes me want to throw a wrench. Now this last one can turn any repair in this video into something General Motors pays for instead of you. Number 15. Not checking for special coverage programs before paying out of pocket. General Motors quietly issues extended warranties for known defects, but they do not show up on any recall website. You have to call General Motors directly or ask the dealer to check your VIN. Right now, there are programs covering 6.2-liter engines from 2021 through 2024 for total failure, Equinox models from 2010 through 2012 for piston problems, and the 8-speed shutter flush under warranty. Even past warranty, persistence pays. One Tahoe owner got an air conditioning condenser covered 18 months after expiration because he called and asked, "Check before you pay," because nobody is going to hand you that information. Every mistake in this video is preventable, and that is why I keep making these. There is a video you need to watch next. A lot of Chevy owners are wasting money on fuel myths that sound true, but are actually costing them. Things like premium gas in an engine that does not need it, additives that do nothing, and old school advice that does not apply to modern Chevy trucks. I break it all down in that video, so click it now before your next trip to the gas station costs you more than it should.